Soundstripe. 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 Soundstripe.
Wassalam Salaga, my brothers and sisters. This is the Black News Network coming at you live. Today, we want to talk about the safety of Black Americans. I mean, it is so hard for us to spend a day out in our communities without something jumping off. I mean, it's always a challenge. It's always been a challenge for us to go out of the house. You know, and when you walk outside, you're not as safe as you would be if you were inside your home. So let's just go over some stats about where we are in America and how we have to fight to be free. Because that's exactly what's happening here. We got to fight to be free, y'all. And without that fight, I don't mean literally go out there and fisticuff. I mean fight with our minds and our knowledge and our ability. Because you already know that there are problems when it comes to what we do and what they do.
Soundstripe.
That's something. So what I'm going to do today is try to talk about some of the things that I've researched and found, and they have a significant impact on our living in America today. But this is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting the news from a Black perspective. We don't own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. So, with that in mind, the safety of Black America is not really in our favor. It's in the interest of maintaining order. Now, politicians have a way of putting words out there that make it sound really nice, like that what I just read there was like, in the interest of maintaining order, we have to do this, that, and the other. And that's the kind of shit they use to put that label us. And really, when you hear somebody say something like that, in the interest of maintaining order, it's about us. They're trying to say we need to be controlled or we're going to have a problem. Black people suffer at the hands of white people. In our high schools, more Black children are being expelled for bullshit. And when white people do the same thing, they get slapped on the wrist. We already know these things exist. So most of us just try to ignore it. And you really can't ignore this shit for so long. It starts to affect your family, and you can't just let it go all the damn time. You got to do something about it. And you don't have to fight. I don't mean go fight nobody. I mean use this nugget up here to figure out how to circumvent or get around that particular incident, because we can do that. Black criminalities are complaining about anything. So if you complain about anything on the job, in the street, at a store, it's Black criminality. They're going to try to make you into a thug just because you say, well, I don't like the way this clerk was dealing with me. So I'd like y'all to do something about it. Call the police. You need to put a leash on your dog over there. Call the police. This Black man's over here threatening to kill me. That kind of stuff is what the problem is. I don't know if there's a solution or not for this stuff, because it's pretty sad. The statistics I found out where they criminality about Black people. How you complain about anything, they will turn it into you being the victim, you being the person causing the problem. Back, I say 35 to 50 years ago, if a Black person complained about something, you're subject to get killed. You're subject to be beat, get the shit beat out of you, thrown in jail, and charged with a felony crime because you just complained about the service you might have received at a particular restaurant, like Denny's. So, Black people, and I don't know if there's a solution to this fear that they have of us. 4% of the population and 20% of the jail. In other words, we're 4% of the United States population, but we occupy 20% of the prison population, which is crazy. That's 390%, more than everybody else. Racial disparity. Always there's a racial disparity when it comes to drugs, and we end up going to prison for minor incidents when they don't, for the same incident. Excuse me. No peace, no redress, no justice. Now, if you don't know Ida B. Wells, You should go to Memphis over there on Beale Street, all the way down to the far end. There's a 8-foot statue of Ida B. Wells. Now, Ida B. Wells was the one who raised hell about the train seats because she was a well-to-do woman, and she was a first-class woman, and she wasn't going to take second-class accommodation. So when she got on the on the train, they tried to tell her to move back to the back where the black people go. She said, hell to the now, she ain't moving. So what I'm saying is, if you stand your ground, you're subject to get away with it on some cases, and you might get killed. But Ida B. Wells didn't give a damn about that, and that's where we need to be. Not giving a damn about how they look at us when we say these things. Like, we don't like that, we don't like this. I'm not worried about them killing me because I said that. I'm not worried about them calling the police. None of that. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to complain about something, first of all, you got to get over your fear of the police, because the police ain't necessarily your enemy. I know they done kill a lot of black people. They still have. But when it comes to the situation we're talking about today, the safety of Black America, there's no reason for you to think that the police would not defend you in a situation where you're just reporting a crime. It's dangerous in America to be free. You know, when they got rid of the black codes, Abraham Lincoln got assassinated. His assistant Johnson, I think it was Johnson, I'm not sure, Jackson or Johnson, became president. And then after the election, Abraham Lincoln, vice president, lost the election. So I think it was Johnson who came in there next. Johnson repealed all the shit that Abraham Lincoln and Jackson had done. Now, that's the 40 acres and a mule. Now, the first they talk about it, we're going to give y'all 40 acres. We're going to give all that land that we've confiscated from the southern states, and we're going to give it to the black folks as punishment to the Confederate Army, the people that own all the land. So when Abraham Lincoln and his vice president lost the upcoming election, Johnson came in there and said, hell to them, now give them white folks their land back. And we repealing everything that Lincoln did. Let's put these Confederate soldiers in the government. Let's make them governors. Let's make them senators. Let's make them everything. So they put active Klans members into our federal government, into our state government. So right now, black people ain't got nowhere to go. You damn. Just because you black, you are damn. I mean, there's so much stuff going against you, and like I said a few seconds ago, it's dangerous to be a black person in America because you are so tormented because of your color. The only thing matters about you is your color. You can be the smartest person in the room, the sharpest knife in the drawer. It doesn't even matter. They only care about your color. And if your color stands out, if you ain't really high yellow or almost white, then you gonna catch hell just like the rest of us. It's dangerous to be black. 281% when a white shot shoots a black, it's justified homicide. When a white person shoots a black person, they're gonna call it justifiable homicide. When a black person shoots a white person, 98% of the time, that black person is going to get a felony conviction put on them, and maybe even get the death sentence or life in prison. They always give us the worst of the pie. They give us the worst of everything, and I'm just so concerned about how our people are addressed in America, and it ain't very much we can do about it because no matter what, they're gonna do it. And in like this place called what was it, Greensboro, Charlottesville, North Carolina, when they finally gave blacks the right to vote and elect our officers, black people into the Congress and the cities and all the elected positions. In North Carolina, I'm just going to use the state, they elected over 20 black people and put them in governmental positions. So they ran the city, basically. Within 2 weeks after they started their job, a mob of over 1,000 white people made those black people quit those positions. They made them get out of those seats. A mob over 1,000 white people. It was like the insurrection up on January 6th. They made the black people relinquish their positions, and we ain't been no good since, because we've never ever been able to hold the positions in the government as we should for 2 or 3 reasons. One good reason is we gotta vote, because if you don't vote, you don't get into positions. That is how you get into the governmental positions. And when I say government, I mean local, state, federal. You cannot get in those positions if you don't vote. You got to get your own people. Even though our people might get in there and screw us worse than the white folks, we got to get our people in there in these positions. And the only way you do it is to vote. 4 in 10 black adults say they do not feel safe walking alone at night. Why is it that we don't feel safe walking alone at night? What, somebody gonna pop us like they did in Medgar Evers? You know it might happen. Black Americans feel less safe than whites, Asians, and Hispanic Americans. We feel like we're below all of these people. And if you don't remember during I don't know if it was World War I or World War II, where they had German prisoners of war, and they had brought them over here to the U.S. and they put them on trains to send them to the camps here in America. They made the black people get off the train so the white people can get on the train, the Germans now. And they gave the Germans better accommodations, even though they were prisoners of war. They gave them better accommodations than they did the black people. Man, I really do not understand what is with this pigment in our skin, because that's all it is. We both bleed blood. You know, there's no other way I can look at it other than they have to be afraid of us, because we're not here to intimidate them or do anything to them, but they have spent a lifetime torturing our people and then acting like they didn't do nothing, throwing the rock and hiding the hand. We, as a black population, a descendant of slaves, our ancestors were beaten, raped, dismembered. If a person did something wrong and they were black and they needed to prove a point, that white man would cut that body into 4 pieces. 4 pieces now. And he would put those 4 pieces right in the slave quarters, so every slave can see this man that they used to be friends with in 4 pieces. How cruel can you be to take a human body, an actual body, and do that to it? You got to be really cruel, really insecure in who you are. I don't know what it is. What it is, black folks. You can give me a call at 210-872-2261 and voice your opinion, because we need to talk about this. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation about what is happening with our black people in this white country. And when they did that stuff in North Carolina, where they moved all those 20 black people from the governmental positions, those white men said, we will never, ever, ever be ruled by black people again. And that's what they said, and it's still that way today. They took back our 40 acres. even after the Lincoln administration had gave us the 40 acres, the Colonel Sherman, I can't even remember his name, but it's the Colonel or General of the Army, had all these mules. So they were giving the black people a mule as well. So this is where the term 40 acres and a mule came. But just to let you know why I'm looking at all this stuff, I'm about at the 11th chapter of this book. And man, oh man, oh man, it goes decade after decade after decade, and it talks about everything that they have done to our people, to the black people. And it's a lot. It is a lot. And it's too much to think that those people are normal. I don't believe that they are normal to be doing what they've done to us. It's been situations where somebody made an accusation, even with, let's go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. The young black man was in Woolworth, or one of those damn stores, big retail stores in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he had to go to the bathroom. He couldn't go to the bathroom in the retail store that he worked in. And he couldn't go to the bathroom in about 5 or 6 stores all the way down that shopping center. He had to go a couple of blocks down the damn street to go into a building and to go up to the 4th, 5th floor to use the black bathroom. So he had to do something so bad. I don't know whether he had to take a leak or he had to take a number 2. I don't know. But he ran down to that building, so now he's hot and sweaty a little bit. And he's punching the elevator button, trying to get on the elevator. So the elevator button, the door finally opened. He was going to run into the elevator, and he tripped on the threshold of the elevator because, sometimes it doesn't always level out. So he tripped on it, and when he tripped, he fell into the white woman that was in the elevator. And he apologized so dearly. He didn't mean it. It was an accident. You know it was an accident, and I know it was an accident. However, this white woman claimed that he groped her and was trying to rape her. So now, that evening, a mob had gathered to go into to Black Wall Street down there in the Greenwood district and tell them to give me that black boy that groped this white woman so we can hang him. So they would not give him up. In Tulsa, in the Black Wall Street, they would not give that boy up. Naturally, white folks gonna go and call other white folks from other cities and other towns, and they're gonna wait till they get 10,000 white people to come in with their guns. And many of those guns that they had out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, were issued by the police department. The police department gave them the guns to go into Black Wall Street. They killed over 300 people that day. They ran every damn body out of town. And they have not cleaned that shit up to this day. Now, the shit that happened to our ancestors here in America, compare it to this. The Holocaust was what, 2-3 years? And Germany have made amends to the descendants of the Holocaust victims. They've compensated them year after year after year, and they've given them special privileges to exist in that country. And they did it because they wanted the people to feel welcome. But here in America, we have yet to even get a thing. We sorry, man, for y'all having to suffer the way you did, where your ancestors had to suffer. We're sorry about that. It was my great-great-great-granddaddy owned 91 slaves. Even our presidents owned slaves. We had it hard, and we ain't never got it even though some of us have made it over some humps. There's still 100 more to go over, and we're still looked at like every other black person as niggers. Nobody is above the nigger title. Nobody black. Because if you black, eventually you're gonna be called nigger. You're gonna either get called it in your face or behind your back or at somebody's house. They used to bring the children out with lemonade and whatever else, honey buns, and they watch black men get castrated. Why did they always go for the benefits of the black man? Damn. Even if the white man's wife made the black man come in and have sex with her, the white man would kill the slave. It's his fault that he went in there, and his wife said, "Well, either you're gonna come in here and make love to me, or I'm gonna tell him anyway that you didn't do right by me. You did this or you did that. So he gonna get you either way it goes. So you better come on in here." They did mandingos like that. It was not right. How about you? Do you feel safe when you encounter the police? You driving down the road, the police pull you over. Are you feeling safe or unsafe? What is it? How you feel? You know, in America, the statistics show that white Americans least afraid of police because they're the least ones to get affected by the police brutality. Hispanic Americans are second because many Hispanic Americans say they're white anyway. So they don't really fear the police. Asian Americans are next. You know, in other words, this is the hierarchy. The whites has the less fear, the least fear. The Hispanic have less than the whites. The Asian have less than the Hispanic and the whites. And the black people are on the bottom. They fear the police. And this is from a Gallup panel, June 23rd, through July 6, 2020. So I'm basically getting the stats out, off of documents, off of papers and other things. And these stats really tell the truth about our existence in America. And if you have not been into Washington, D.C. to visit the African American Museum, then you should do it because it's something to see. It is something to see. It is really a good thing to go see. And I haven't been there, and that's one of my bucket list items. Go to that African American Museum. But don't forget, they charge you like $45 to go in there. That's the way it is. There's another museum that I think everyone should go and visit, and that is the Hanging Museum. And is it Birmingham? If it ain't Birmingham, it's Birmingham. It's Montgomery. No, it's Birmingham. It is called the Hanging Museum. I'm not sure where it's at, but I know it's in Alabama. It's either in Montgomery or it's in Birmingham, and I know it's not in Tuscaloosa. But anyway, I did visit that museum. And in that museum, they have so many things that they show the people about what's been going on in America. And that is where you learn your history. You have to know what has been done to our people. And what I'm about to show you is something that I'm going to put it up, put it back down. So I have to move my picture to it. So hanging position. They put it in a jar, and they put the name on that jar. And if you go to the Hanging Museum, you're going to see 1,000 jars up against the wall. And those, the big pickle jars, that's what that is. One of those big pickle jars, about the size of a pickle jar, with the person's name and the date that person was born. All this is in this one place, and they did the entire United States. And what tops it off, when you walk the grounds, right? They got the slaves in the chain, and they got statues all over the place of slaves being tormented with chains and neck bracelets and all this different stuff. And then you walk in there, you look up, you think you're walking underneath a coffin. You're walking underneath the coffin. And that coffin hangs from the roof. And it's 1,000 of them. You're walking down the aisle and it's 1,000 coffins up there on the roof. And then you look out over the field, there's another 1,000 out there. And they all made of steel. And the name of those same slaves that are on those jars right there that I just showed you, those coffin-shaped steel boxes got the name of that slave and the date, or not slave, but the name of that black person that was hung. So how can you sit there and just chop off fingers of somebody and take them home? Well, everybody can get a piece of this nigga. So they cut off everything they can cut off. They cut off the ears, the nose, the lips. They pluck out the eyes. They cut off the fingers, the thumb, the genitals, the toes. They take every single thing they can take, and then they burn the corpse. They burn the remaining part of the body. And while they're doing it, they're having lemonade and cupcakes. Bullshit. What kind of human being can do that? You know, that is one of the reasons they came up with this damn critical race theory, is because they did not want the young white kids to know how they treated black people during slavery. Now, there are some things worse than slavery here in America, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Now, slavery, when you were with the slaves here in America, they had room and board. They were given food, even though it might have been chitlins and ham hocks and shit like that, livers and kidneys. It could have been all that stuff, like the livers and onions that you like. But they had food to eat. Then if they got sick, they had some form of health care. The doctor may have to come in and see you if you're a good producer, or whatever they may have to do. They try to, if you learn how to read before they taught you how to read, then that's a death sentence. That was a death sentence chair. You going to the chair. Georgia is the first state to execute a woman in America, a black woman. But the black woman is innocent. He killed the white man because the white man tried to rape her and she wouldn't let him. So he pulled out a gun. He was going to kill her. So she took the damn gun from the white man and killed him. They put her in jail and they gave her the death penalty and they executed her for killing a white man. It's always been a problem when you kill a white man, but never a problem when you kill a black man. It's always been a problem when a white woman goes missing, but never a problem when a black woman goes missing. It's always a problem when a white kid gets harassed by the police, but it's never a problem when a black kid gets harassed by the police. All these things about America cannot give you any other thought process other than this is a white country. And it is what it is. We exist in this white country as mulattoes, colored, Negro, black, African American, and whatever other names they got for it. But none of those names represent us. All those names are just names they give us as in passing. And none of those names are nationalities. But, you know, all the Chinese, they got a nation. All the Japanese, they got a nation. All the damn Scotland people, they got a nation. All the Germans, they got a nation. We don't have a nation. That is why you get no respect by the slave catchers. The slave catchers, part of the Fugitive Slave Act, went all over the country looking for black people, whether you were free or not. They didn't give a damn. But if you look the part, they're going to take your ass back down south, put you on the plantation. And that's the movie 12 Years a Slave. It took 12 years for them to come get him off that plantation. He was an aristocrat up in Boston or somewhere, and he thought the white folks was his friend. So he sit down for dinner, and they just chatting it up, having a great old time, and the black man sounding all white. Next thing you know, his ass gets knocked the hell out from the drugs they put in his drug. And when he wakes up, he is chained and bound. He going back to the slave. He going to the slave plantation, and he's been free all his life. All of his life, he has been free, and now he's about to be a slave. Oh man, you can imagine that he's still in disbelief that all of this shit had happened to him because it was so damn detrimental. It was so bad for his mentality. And what they do to us is it's about our mentality too. Anytime they think we're doing too good, they come out with this cliche shit like, let's do the war on drugs. That ain't the war on drugs. That's the war on black people. Then they over-police our community so they can keep enough black people in the system they want to keep enough black people in the system. So they always got somebody that they can convict or hang or give life sentence. They keep them in there for practice. That is the way it is. 59% rate their interaction with police positive, while 41% do not. And this black people, black adults rate police experiences less positive than the national average. White adults most likely to report being threatened with respect and fairness than black people. 32% of black adults say people have acted as if they were better than you. How many times have you felt that way? The people around you act as though they are better than you. Not because of your brain, but because of your color. Because of your color. They act like they're better than you. 25% say people have acted as if they thought they were smarter than us. They think they're better than us. They think they're smarter than us. And they act like it. And that don't make it right. That does not make it right. I hear things all through the day, and I text it to myself, and I put it in short phrases. It's all about us figuring out what we're going to do next. And it ain't about violence, but violence begets violence. It's about not equality. We want better than equality. We want the country, we want the states, we want the local governments to admit the fact that they don't like us and that they don't want us in their community. But we ain't giving you no land or no state to get rid of you because you might start doing better than us in that state. That is kind of sad. It's sad, sad. But that is the way it is right now. It's pretty sad. We've sat and talked for 40 minutes now about safety of Black America. There is no safety of Black America. You're always the first to go. You know, from Ronald Reagan, war on drugs, starting to arrest Black people, the over-policing of our neighborhoods, arresting Black people. The objective of the police is to get you documented so they know who you are. So you gotta avoid that if you can by obeying the law. Because if you break the law, they're subject to catch up with you, and then you're gonna have to go on paper. And now they got you on tabs for the whole country. You know, as a military man, they do DNA tests to us, they do fingerprints to us, and they got us on file. They know all our business. They know who we are, where we come from, what we do. And they can access it at will if they need to. Being Black in America is definitely the hardest challenge we will ever face. Universities, that's not hard. MMA fighting, that's not hard. What's hard is a Black man being able to survive and thrive in America. Because it to me, it seems as though the entire system is set up for Black men to fail. The whole entire system. Black men to fail. I don't understand how we can be as humble and happy as we are, like joyful individuals, when we know our brothers and sisters are struggling across America. All over America, we have people struggling, trying to make ends meet. But that ain't the issue. The issue is once some people get up here, they want to turn their nose down on the people down here, the people at the bottom of the well. Those are the people that will make you or break you. And especially if you got them working in fast food restaurants, you got to be paying them right. You got to pay these people correctly, because that's the problem. You don't pay people right, then they accept you to start doing things that don't make sense to the fellow soldier who's happy with his good pay, but it ain't happy to you. You've been in this damn company 10 years, and they promoting younger kids over you faster than you can damn get to know their name. You got to be aware that this is the kind of stuff that goes on in our workplace. Ronald Reagan, like I said, the war on drugs, Nancy Reagan, just say no, Gerald Ford, you know, all these people, all these people in America have become numb to what we suffer from. And we don't suffer from physical or mental illness. We suffer from them holding us back. If they didn't hold us back, we would be a hell of a way down the road. But they do. And there ain't very much we can do about it because of this, right? This is young. We don't go together. I was talking to some brothers the other day about the deacons of defense. I still would like to see us form a chapter of Deacons of Defense here in Santa Cruz, Texas, because I don't see the support from our people when something happens to our people. We don't support each other, and we have to get better at it because it's not right the way with our backs to our eyes. It's not right. Black people got off the plantation with nothing. They taught themselves how to read. They knew how to garden. They broke them. Black people always been into broken. If you ain't from cigarettes in a city. That's what it's all about. Learning to live off the land. There's a website out there called Live Off the Land. And I like going to that website, looking at them slaughter hogs, coons, raccoons, and deer. And there's a certain thing about a coon. If you learn this, don't tell anybody. This is between us. A coon's penis got a hook on the end of it. And what farmers do is they dry the penis and put it on and dry it. Take all the meat off and put it out there and let it dry. And then they go in and they scratch people's neck with it. They say, yeah, this is a black girl, try this. So he had so many people using that damn shit first. It didn't make no sense. But that's what he did. Sometimes people do some crazy shit. I hope that we can find our way in America. I hope that we gain acceptance. And when I say gain acceptance, I don't mean by the white people. I mean by ourselves. Let people be who they want to be. Because that is the best we're going to be able to do. It's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for me. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live on this Wednesday afternoon. I'd like to thank you for viewing. Don't forget to subscribe.
Soundstripe.
We'll see you on Sunday,
Soundstripe.
3:30 p.m.